Regulation Nation. Imagine your child goes into diabetic shock, but school officials aren't allowed to give them insulin. It's true. Republican strategist Nikki Neely is here with that regulation. More of the ridiculous red tape facing our nation. Nikki, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
We'll get to that case in just a moment. But first, the long arm of the law has said, no, you cannot resell cribs, America.
Right. So I'm pregnant, and as I started looking into, thank you, as I started looking into outfitting a nursery, which obviously is very expensive, I found out that you're actually not allowed to resell cribs that were made before June 2011.
Okay.
The Consumer Product Safety Commission redid all their rules in 2010, and it turns out we've been putting our little bundles of joy in death traps before that date. So you cannot resell anything, and if you have an heirloom crib that you hope to pass on to your children,
right,
unfortunately, you can't do that anymore.
Well, you can't give it to them, or you can't sell it.
You can't sell it. Yeah, you can't sell it, and you can't thrift stores, anything like that, anything for monetary value.
All right, so if my neighbor has a garage sale and there's a crib over there, I can make a citizen's arrest?
Pretty much, yeah.
That is crazy. All right. Now, the case we were just talking about, in California, if a kid needs an insulin injection, there's a real problem for them to get it, isn't there?
There is. So as the laws in California stand right now, the only people who can administer insulin shots to diabetic children are licensed school nurses or parents or the children themselves. Unfortunately, 26% of schools in California don't have a full-time or part-time school nurse. So that means that if a child has a problem, the parent actually has to leave work to come and give that shot to the kids. So obviously, this is something that's been challenged by the American Diabetic Association. This is a real concern because schools have wanted to train other school professionals to give these shots. The American Nurses Association has challenged this, and that's why it's in court right now, because they're worried that to do so would jeopardize nurses' jobs. Maybe schools wouldn't hire nurses. So it's not about the kids, it's about the nursing jobs.
And the problem is so many schools out there don't have nurses, and there's the catch-22. And finally, let's talk a little bit about how Uncle Sam is now involved in what and what is not pimento cheese.
Yes, the Federal Register defines what pimento cheese is. So what ingredients can be. Specifically, it cannot ever be smoked. It can't have spices in it. The only vegetable that can be in it are pimentos. But it's funny because that actually doesn't adhere to a lot of hand-me-down recipes that are around in the South. So who knew that the government cared so much?
Why are they involved in pimento cheese?
Why not? I mean, who knows?
Yeah, right. As I look at the stories you've covered today, two involving children and one involving pimento cheese, are you having a craving?
Maybe.
Maybe. All right. Nikki Neely, always a pleasure. Thanks very much for looking at our crazy Regulation Nation today.